It's the Eagle Community Television Forum with your host, Gary Shorman.
Hi, I'm Gary Shorman, and this is the Forum on Eagle Television. It's great to have you watching along. We have fun guests, but today's is going to be special because of some things coming up a little bit later this year, some excitement of the Grammys. We'll find out more, but first, our program is brought to you by Hayes Med. Luke Johnson is our guest. Luke is the K-12 covering the bases in Victoria High School. And Luke does music for them as well, former Fort Hays Stater. But what's special about this show and what we're going to be talking about is the 60th Grammy Awards. Did you ever think your name would be tied in with the Grammy Awards?
You know, as a kid, I always had dreams of being a rock star, but this is very different than how I thought it would be.
It's interesting.
Educator. Yeah.
It's interesting. Luke does K through 12, and let's talk about that first. How does a music instructor put together music for that broad of age group? Because it kind of goes through the ABC song all the way to really pretty sophisticated music for a high school kid.
Yeah, you really have to departmentalize, you know, every half hour I see a new group and you just reset your brain and go from there. The cool part about it though is that I get every kid, and so by the time they're in sixth grade band, I know exactly what they can do and I can get them prepared for that over 7 years from kindergarten on the way up. So,
what are your kids like in Victoria? Because you don't have a great big school there. How do you make music in a school that size?
It's combining classes. So if you come to our elementary programs, we'll have two age groups together usually, kindergarten and first grade. Our class sizes it varies between 16 and almost 30 kids, depending on the age and just the year. And how we make music, it's combined at the middle school, high school too. Our band is 7th grade all the way through 12th grade. So that gets those numbers up so we can have enough kids to do a lot of cool stuff.
Well, when you do that, it takes a lot of work on the kids' part to be able to do that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know, especially band. Like the 6th grade kids in August, early September, they're learning how to put their instruments together. A year later, they're with high school kids playing at football games, basketball games, contests, that sort of stuff. So it's quick moving for them. But I found they really like the challenge. You know, they work hard.
Now, what do you do musically? I mean, you talk about you were in music, Fort Hays State, I assume.
Sure, yep.
And you come out of that. So what do you do musically, and how did you get started in music?
Yeah, I started on trombone in 5th grade and did that all the way through middle school and high school. Then in high school, I got interested in guitar, started learning jazz. There was a real need for that in my school to have a guitarist in a jazz band. So I started with that. And that led me into college here at Fort Hays, where I played both guitar and trombone. And I still do that. I still play around town quite a bit on guitar. It's a nice hobby.
You do some singing as well, correct?
Sometimes. I mean, I do with my job. I have to sing. I'm singing with kids all the time. So it's been a lot of fun, yeah.
I know when I was my music instructor at some point said, I think you're in this row over here. I have a great low voice, but it's short range. And you see that, I assume, as kids come up through the school program, who can actually be in front and do an opera versus somebody who maybe is better with the ABC song.
Oh, absolutely. And it's interesting to see the change. You know, I've only been there for 2 years, but even in that short amount of time, as kids get older, how that changes. And they'll surprise you. The kids that maybe don't have the voice or you don't think the personality to be on stage, all of a sudden they'll just find their niche and really take off with it. So it's fun.
Well, I can tell your enthusiasm because Luke Johnson is the music instructor in Victoria, but you had some special news when you learned that you were the only one in the state as a music instructor that's involved in the Grammys this year, and being a chance, I would think, of one of almost 200 finalists competing from around the country to be in the Grammy Awards. What was that like to hear that news?
It was a shock. I got an email, I think in early March, saying, here's an application, fill it out. And that's a very busy time of year. So I filled it out and didn't think anything of it. And then I think late April, I got an email saying I'd been selected as a quarterfinalist, and that was just a shock. I kind of had to check to see if it was a scam email. I just didn't believe it at first, so it's really been exciting.
So you did that, and you get a quarterfinalist, and now are you in the quarterfinal phase, and then what are the next phases of this?
Yeah, but we had until June 15th, so a couple days ago, we had to submit some videos of us in the classroom and talking about what we do, and then in September, they'll narrow that down to 15 teachers across the country for I guess, semifinalists is what
And
that
once
would
you
be.
get to that level, then you actually have some cash awards to go with that as well.
Right, a personal cash award as well as a grant for the school, which that's the part I'm most excited about, because funding is tough and we'll take every penny we can get. So if we could get a grant for the program, that'd just be incredible.
I want to find out a little bit more about what video you sent and what actually, you go into competition, you do those things, you think, what actually triggered that, and see what you think in the video. We'll talk about that. We're going to take a quick break, okay?
Okay.
We're going to come back. Our guest is Luke Johnson. He's a K-12 music instructor who's been nominated for a Grammy Award. Back with more after this.
Hayes Med is your first and best choice for healthcare. They're the only facility providing tertiary level services in this region. With more than 70 physicians and 26 specialties ranging from heart, orthopedic, spine care, cancer, obstetrics and gynecology, wound care, rehabilitation and surgery, including the Da Vinci robotic surgery, Hayes Med is your comprehensive health provider for people throughout Western Kansas. Hayes Med, helping people be healthy.
Are you frustrated with Wi-Fi dead zones in your home? It happens when you don't have Pulse, the cutting-edge Wi-Fi solution from Eagle Communications. A Pulse-certified Eagle technician maps your home, then installs a dual-band modem and router, plus discrete access points to deliver wall-to-wall Wi-Fi with no dead zones. Pulse powers all your family's devices in all the places you love to live. Get Pulse. Wi-Fi made simple. Only from Eagle Communications. Call today.
This is the second half of our forum. Welcome back. I'm Gary Shorman with Luke Johnson from Victoria High School. Our program is brought to you by Hayes Med. And I always ask this, and last week just had a comment from somebody said, hey, I'd like to have this person on the forum show. I'd like to hear from you as well. Send your note to gary.shorman@eaglecom.net, gary.shorman@eaglecom.net. You can also find us on Facebook. If you look at ECTV Forum, you can click us as our friend and make your comments or suggestions there as well. Again, the program's brought to you by Hayes Med, and our guest today is a potential Grammy Award winner. That sounds really crazy, when you say that sort of thing. A potential Grammy Award winner, but it's true. Luke Johnson is a K-12 music instructor over at the high school in Victoria. And we were talking in the first half about, the kids in Victoria, what they do, the breadth of that program of K-12 and what you have to do. But Luke, you had to fill out a form first. Did somebody nominate you for this?
That's my understanding, yeah.
Which is why you got the form.
Right, they don't tell you who.
Because I didn't get a form. I didn't get a form, no. So.
But they also encourage people, if you're a music teacher, to apply. So they say don't be shy. But there's a number of ways people were nominated. A teacher, a community member, a student, or you can nominate
So who
yourself.
nominated you?
I have no idea, no.
You don't know. So anyway, this shows up, you fill out the form.
Right.
And then, once you get to that level, you're accepted as one of the top almost 200 finalists. Then you send in some video. What did you send in, and what was that about?
Yeah, they needed 8 minutes of me teaching, which when I teach kindergarten through 12th grade, I had a lot of choices on what to pick. So I picked my second grade students because they already know their note names, they can count rhythms really well, they're enthusiastic, they sing well. So I just showed off that they can already read music and how well they sing. And so that was 8 minutes of that. And then I needed student testimonials. It could have been community members or other teachers, but I just stuck with students because the kids are what this is all about. So I submitted that, and then I wrote an essay, a 400-word essay as well about what I'm doing in my community.
So when you do that, you go up against these other almost 200 schools from around the country.
Right.
And when will you know? When will the email or letter come where they open it up and say you're in the top 15?
They say September. We'll see if they stay on that timeline. They've done pretty well so far of being on the timeline, they've said. So hopefully September. And I don't know if only those people get an email or if everybody gets notified. So
thank you, apply again next year.
Right, yeah.
Now the winner, as I understand it, actually goes to New York to the Grammys.
Yes, and I think you can take somebody along. So me and my wife would be able to go do that. And that comes with a big $10,000 grant for your school, which would just be phenomenal. We can do a lot with that.
Talk about music a little bit, because it's exciting to see this. Obviously somebody cared enough to say, hey, Luke, you're doing a great job over here. How do you get into this for this level? But what's it mean? What does music mean to kids? Because there's so many. You mentioned competition for dollars in education. What does music mean to kids? You've taken it to this next level. So what does it mean to them?
For a lot of my older kids, it's the reason they come to school every day. It really is. If there's a child that isn't athletic or into academics, that's the reason that they wake up and come every day, so that we can have them in school. For the younger kids, it varies. A lot of them, it's just fun, and we try to make it fun. But if you look at research, it also really helps kids with reading and math and language, which is really important too, because it works the same part of the brain as those other academic areas do. So even though a second grader or third grader might not be thinking about that benefit, that's why we need it in our schools.
Well, so many times when you talk about things, arts in general, it's like, okay, why do we need this? We just need math and English and do some history in there. But it does really round out. You're a great example of that, still out performing music, still out doing things in the community, doing that sort of thing. And I assume you have students doing that as well as they graduate. This is your second year at?
Second year in Victoria.
In
Yep,
Victoria.
I just finished my second year in May.
And doing that. And goals for next year when you sit down, okay, how do I'm up for the Grammys here. What do I do next year? What do you have in place to improve next year?
We're always looking at growth. When I got hired, I had 13 kids in our junior high school band. Last year we were at 29, and I just got off the phone with my secretary. We're looking at hopefully 45 to 50 this year. So growth is always important. I want as many kids as possible involved.
One thing about it, you can form a lot more things at halftime of football. When you have 49 versus 13, you can only form really a line and maybe a V if you only have 13, right?
Right, and so far we've just been in stands playing music because we just didn't have the kids to march. So that's the next goal too, is to get them out there. I don't know the last time they had a marching band, so it'd be great to do that.
You gotta love the excitement when you see people in our community that do what you do, Luke, and get others invited, and congratulations. Hope to hear good news on that when it comes back, but either way, you're a winner getting the kids to do and perform like that. So Luke, thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.
Luke Johnson's been our guest here. Luke is a K-12 music instructor in Victoria, at the high school, middle school, and all the way down to elementary and kindergarten. He's been nominated for a Grammy Award. Hope we hear good news back from that. Thanks for watching the Forum program. Forum is brought to you by HaysMed and by Eagle Communications, our community connected.
It's a beautiful day in our super high-speed internet great customer service neighborhood. Like you, this is where we live. In fact, our company is employee-owned, so it's our goal to improve the quality of life for everyone in our community by delivering faster, more reliable internet, clearer, more feature-laden phone service, quality TV channels, all with the level of customer service you'd expect from people who are your neighbors. Eagle Communications, our community connected.